Welcome to the show. Today we're diving into an inspiring story of innovation and heart. Meet Anne and Lenore Henning, two dedicated nurses who transformed their bedside experiences into a thriving entrepreneurial journey. Together they created the Beata Clasp, an ingenious IV line organizer designed to improve patient safety and empower nurses worldwide. In this episode, you'll hear how they overcame self-doubt, tackled product development hurdles, and navigated the complex world of healthcare regulations. They also share how embracing social media and community support helped bring their simple yet powerful solution to hospitals around the globe. Join us to learn how everyday nursing challenges can spark meaningful change, and how innovation led by nurses can truly make a difference in patient care. Lenore Henning brings over 40 years of nursing experience at the bedside and is the heart and soul behind the Beata Clasp. A proud mother of 3 daughters, Lenore has balanced her role as a dedicated nurse with her journey as a small business owner. Even today, she maintains her active nursing license, continuing to inspire and support the nursing community. Lenore's unwavering commitment to patient safety and her innovative spirit are the driving forces behind our company's mission. Anne Henning, Lenore's middle daughter, has been a dedicated nurse for over 20 years, inspired by her mother's passion for patient safety and innovation. Anne spent 12 years working at a county hospital in Las Vegas, where she excelled as an oncology nurse and eventually took on a supervisory role managing the oncology unit. Her dedication to her field earned her the prestigious title of Oncology Nurse of the Year by the March of Dimes. Anne has also served as the chair of the Nurse Practice Council and remains an active member of the Oncology Nursing Society, Las Vegas chapter. With her experience, commitment, and leadership, Anne brings invaluable insight and guidance to the Beata Clasp.
So thank you, Annie. Thank you, Lorraine, for your time. Thank you for having me and be with us today. It's very excited to have a family business came from hospital and nursing industry. Today, both of you have very interesting idea and also business up and running right now. Both of you came from nursing background and you share a very interesting story. So I will leave the floor for you. Please tell us who you are and what you are doing.
Well, I'm Anne Henning, and this is my mother, Lenore Henning. Well, we're both bedside nurses. I've been a nurse for 20 years, and
I've been a nurse for over 50 years.
And why don't you tell them what you invented?
I invented this Beata Clasp. It's a line organizer that fits on the bed rail. Many years ago, my father was a patient at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, and he, of course, had IV lines and stuff, and he was older, but he wanted to be independent. And so we started out, we taped a little medicine cup at the bed rail, and he put his IVs on there, and he's able to get up and back and then put them back. Well, that was kind of a primitive idea with a workaround, just tape. And then this came from lots of research and development, and now it's the Beata Clasp.
Lovely. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I joined forces so this product has been around for a long time, over 20 years, but it's just recently that I joined on saying, what would happen to this product if I put my full-time effort into making it happen? So we've used e-commerce platforms, and I've really kind of embraced the nurse entrepreneur aspect, showing what we can do. And so we have hospitals who are using it, not just in the US, but worldwide.
Sounds good. So the problem you try to solve it's more as a IV line organizer. So will be more safe for the patient for mobility and movement, and at the same time, user-friendly, right?
Very user-friendly. Tell her.
Well, it's intuitive. And so you really don't need an in-service. You just need to watch somebody put the tubing in, and you can repeat that action. A monkey see, monkey do, and it's very, very easy that way. So
we often say it does not need an in-service. So you can see it's all one piece. And if you're just listening on the podcast, it's all one piece. It's bright yellow, which is like for high risk to fall. It really creates an awareness for the nurse and the patient. And then you separate the bottom piece and it opens up. And then you can put it around anything such as a walker, a wheelchair, an IV pole, a bed rail. And then the nice part about it is you don't need adhesive. So there's no tape on the bed rail. There's no tape that's going to harbor bacteria, and it stays in place. And if you have to move the patient, this can go with the patient to the gurney, to their next level of care, or to a procedure or test.
And you are very active in the social media and TikTok to try to give more advertising and more education about your product. I follow you and I found you mentioned as also the material itself. It is helpful with the infection control, right? It's user friendly.
Antimicrobial. Yes, it is. And we've had a lot of success talking to infection control because the big thing in hospital is you don't want a hospital acquired condition. That can be a fall, it can be a central line infection, a wrong site surgery. But right now, we're focusing along with Patient Safety Awareness Week is coming up March 9th through the 15th, and that's a nationwide ploy to, I think they're moving the needle forward is what their slogan is. And that's what we feel we are doing as far as moving patient safety to the forefront with the simple things that they want addressed. They don't want to have any falls by the patient or by the staff. If you have an injured staff, that's a very big expense as well. And these wrong site or these infections and falls are a big thing that's not reimbursed by Medicare. If they fall in the hospital, Medicare won't reimburse hospitals for those conditions.
Yeah, you're right. So when I was in nursing practice, I was in the ICU. So I would like if I had that in back in the days. But you mentioned it's something old, more than 20 years. Why this is the first time for me I see it? This is because I'm bad, or this is because it's still you are targeting only the US market?
Because we are launching a new approach to advertising with Anne's social media. I never had that available to me.
The superstar Anne.
Yeah.
The superstar.
That it really brings up a good point in where where the world is moving with just advancement of social media, with AI. The reason we didn't get it out there is because the only way people really found out about this was when we had a booth at a conference and people came to the conference and we were able to share it with them, then they ordered. And even when this got on the desk of a hospital, it still took 6 months before they adopted it because there's so many different processes. Each hospital has a unique process to adopt a change. So that played a part into it. I really want to highlight the new age of nursing, how we found a community, how we found a tribe on these social media platforms, how we're hearing each other and how we're supporting each other. And it's really today, the nurse that brings this to her manager and says, we need it. That's how we're moving forward. And we're also moving forward by the patient that says, wow, I needed that when I was in the hospital. So that's kind of where we're at now.
This is a good side from your story. For sure, you came across a lot of challenges up and down. So would you like to share with me what kind of the challenges you have it since you started to think about the idea itself? And you mentioned you went through the R&D. So R&D itself, it's quite challenging, and supply chain to have this product. So please feel free to share anything you see it as challenging, because what's happening right now, everyone, they thought, I don't want to stay with my area or my business or my career, and I want to go out and open a business, which is good. But sometimes they are underestimating the challenge you could have it as an entrepreneur. So would you please give me from your experience?
Well, I'll go kind of first and then you can add on to anything. We've had several challenges. Gosh, you know what? Just like coming from the heart first, probably one is maybe more from me is like, maybe I didn't believe in myself and I didn't believe in the product because, I'm a nurse, not a salesperson. I think that's the story I was repeating often in my head. There was also maybe a lack of drive at first to put this forward because we had our nurses' careers to fall back on. We had a paycheck. So once we put our heart and soul into this, things move forward and more flow. So trust the universe. Some other issues, I think my mother, it's been a long journey for her, but every time something came up, she just went ahead and dealt with it. So because business 20 years ago was different than business is today. I mean, now you just click 2 buttons and you have a website. She kind of started, she had to find these resources, these people. She had to work with figuring out taxes. So there's a whole bunch of different aspects. of running a business?
The best thing I ever did was kind of join a local thing. Being outside Chicago here, they had the quality for patient safety. There's so many organizations, FDA, CDC, IHI. So I joined locally, and there's just like-minded people who are all about patient safety, and whether they're doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and they all collaborate and for the common good. And so mostly now, though, it's about, you hear so much about the nurses, the heroes that are at the bedside. And what we have to be concerned about is their well-being, their mental well-being, and as far as even workplace violence, their physical well-being. And that translates to a patient's well-being. And when you have patients who are happy and when you have nurses who are happy, you're going to have hospitals who are shining, who are supporting everything. It's not just a bottom line, a financial thing. It's about the health of the hospitals in America today.
Yeah. So I guess that would, I think all nurses kind of are battling the same things with like, are they like self-care is kind of thrown around. Well, you need to do self-care. Well, okay, well, give me the time to do it. Give me the resources. So we do have to invest in our nurses so you can be well balanced, so you can move forward and so you can face these challenges and you're not discouraged. Yeah. That was a good question.
So yeah, it's good. And you mentioned this is before 20 years ago, so it was harder and difficult to do that. Now with the technology and with the community, with the internet, and that become very easy to find the community or your peer to support you. In that time when you started, was the main driver, along with the story which you told me for your father, to take this further out, not only keep it for your family to innovate this to stay. No, you take it further and you start to think about producing this for everyone. So 20 years ago, I think the spark would be harder than today. So do you remember what is your spark in that day?
Well, I think it was cheering on by my family and knowing that you could leave a legacy and touch every person through another person just by showing your passion and speaking just what's in your heart and the well-being of others. And that's what my goal always has been. And then once you get started, it's kind of like a steamroller, and where we're going along on a train. And now we are launching into space to be like worldwide and, have many channels to sell our product.
I am very interesting, and see, this is really a good story, because right now, for sure, and you see a lot of the nursing where they are complaining and they are not like what they are doing, and every time they relate and mention their mental status and the burnout, but none of them they are taking real step to change that. What happened with you and your mother? You take this already and move forward. And you mentioned you are not a salesperson, but you are doing better than the salesperson. Every time I see you on the social media, I see you how you try to give the value of your product, and also give real showcases how you can use it, where you can use it, and also the transparency, the comments they came for you and shared. So you are doing better than anyone from different background from the nursing. So I am very excited to know, is this is in your DNA to take this and advocate it, or that situation in your hospital help you to be with big brain and think about, I need to not stay in this situation, I need to take the change, I am a change agent, I will do that by myself?
I think it's when I really started working on my mindset and changing my mindset. And I think it's great that I had a partner, because she keeps me pulled into certain aspects, and I help move things forward. So we're a really good balance. So having that partner was helpful. And I come back to the quote that my mother often shares. It's from Dr. Donald Berdwick. And he said, "What some can make use of, many can." So when I see the negative comments, you know what, I ignore those, because for every negative comment, there's a comment that says, I couldn't reach my call light, and then I couldn't reach the nurses. And then they have some kind of story where it just pulls at my, like, as a nurse I was at the bedside. So it breaks my heart to hear what they had to go through, because they couldn't reach the call light. And this would have solved that problem. So I've really just been focused on the positive and the who it's making a difference for.
And here, everyone, they have misconception or stereotype when you bring something innovative or innovation. They thought that you will bring something from scratch, never there, and something big and need patent. Sometimes a simple solution like what you did, it's add a lot of value and save a lot of lives. Like you mentioned, the light, it's available there, and also the design for that will make sure all of them stuck and organized. So sometimes simple solution make a huge difference.
I think it'll make a big difference for the hospitals as a whole, too. When I was working at the hospital, we had all these regulatory commissions that would come, the Joint Commission, and we would be on guard to be sure that, the Vaseline wasn't on the shelf with the Tylenol, or there weren't wood screws and a metal door on a doorstop. And now we can support hospitals in saying, look, we are providing forward thinking and proactive measures to prevent these things, to prevent one fall, one central line infection, one dissatisfied nurse, one unhappy patient giving a bad score for the hospital. And that's kind of what it all is about, is patient satisfaction, the interaction with the patient. And they say that patients who are involved in their own care have better outcomes. And with this on the bedside, they can actually be involved in their care. They can hang their iPhone cord here. They can be sure that things are visual and right there where they can get a hold of somebody. So I think, yeah.
It's been following you and see all the products and how you keep develop this product. However, it's still simple, but it seems you have roadmap to do that. So one of the things it's obvious for everyone, the color. The color was blue, now it's yellow.
Yes, it was. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that. Because that actually goes back to one of our challenges. So we decided to add an antimicrobial agent into this, and we said, well, how can we differentiate that this is new and improved? And we said, well, why don't we change the color as well? So we changed the color. I mean, there was challenges like, well, for example, we ran out of product for a while, and we were on back order. And we've had customers buying this for 15 years. So we know that their orders are coming in, and now we had to put it on back order. And we actually ran into challenges with our manufacturer, and their heart wasn't in it. They kind of produced it, and it was the way it came out of the mold was a little bit different, and it wasn't working like it used to. So that was another challenge we really had to face, is we had to say, you know what? They're not the only manufacturer in town. And we went out and we started to interview other manufacturers. We found one, and we literally moved a 900-pound steel mold from Illinois to Florida, where it's now produced. Oh, that's led us to other aspects, of the business, such as fulfillment, which is exciting. I feel like, also just nurses, when you leave the bedside, you're going to be you already wear so many hats at the bedside. You're already doing housekeeping and cooking, like getting the meals and giving meds. And list goes on and on. Physical therapy, respiratory therapy, you wear it all. Now you become a nurse entrepreneur, and you've got another set of hats. You have to kind of learn AI. You have to learn fulfillment. You have to learn, maybe design. You have to learn how to delegate different types of work. I kind of went off on a spiel, but
you asked about the color. What's your favorite color? What would you like this color to look like?
For me, I like it, the yellow. I find it more attractive more than the blue.
Yeah, the yellow, we got a call from somebody in bioengineering because yellow is a universal color for patients at risk to fall. So it's yellow, yellow, yellow. But he said everybody that comes into the hospital is at risk to fall because you're not aware of your surroundings, your relatives. They don't know what's all there. So then there's the real high risk patients that are all, ready to get out of the bed and terrorized a little bit. He wanted to know if we made it in red, because that's a very high alert. Yellow could be your regular high alert, and blue could be just the standard patient that's admitted. Changing colors, and then Anne likes a few colors too.
Yeah. And we also, as we move forward into that, because, it's like a never ending journey, as you can see. We started this podcast with an idea, and, even though we're a little bit more everywhere. There's still improvements we can make. And we also are going to add a laser material. So now you can get something laser printed on it, whether it's your hospital, the patient's room number, maybe a special message, whatever it is, that's next on our list as well.
Yeah, interesting. So while both of you are describing the product and the roadmap journey, it came to my mind, maybe I never thought about it, but maybe you can have, like what you mentioned, different code color for different patient status. So this is also will be as a visual aid for the nurses. Immediately they can distinguish their status, and the messages and digital screen maybe will be a good add-on. My next question here: how you put those requirements or roadmap, and how you work through the development and improvement cycle?
So kind of a roadmap, and you said improvement cycle?
Yes, correct. So based on what you take those requirements and put it as your future roadmap, and what is the criteria you follow to put those priority and when to produce it to the market?
Do you want to like moving forward or kind of like looking back?
No, move forward. Now, as you mentioned, the messages and the screen maybe will be coming. So from where you get your feedback, who is the main source of the truth you giving those information? Do you keep meeting with the end user as a nurses who use this product and the hospital to give feedback from them to improve the solution, or this is something more into research and development, you do it outside?
Well, I think that to answer that is hospitals now have a value analysis committee, and they take a new product and have a lot of checklists how it would add value to their hospitals. And what they're focusing on now is patients that are nurses in the hospital setting have to know how to operate the equipment. So they want IFUs, instructions for use, so that you don't use it incorrectly and have a bad outcome. So that value analysis, they want to ensure proper device handling and follow guidelines that the hospital already has for patient safety and infection prevention. So that's new, that value analysis. Each hospital has it. It's a process to go through to get your product onto the floor.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
a lot of nurses identify a barrier as like, even though the cost point is actually pretty low to prevent one fall, to prevent one infection, to make one patient more comfortable, there's always the concern for price. So these committees help say, you know what, the price is worth the cost. So
Especially if this came, the value analysis is from their side, better than you came it. So there is more credibility when they do that from their end. So if you do that, they will questioning, is this is the right number, or do you try to promote it? But when the hospital, they do that, that means it's a good input. Can you give me numbers? For example, from the hospital, they did the value analysis. What is the return of investment for this product?
They give you the green light to proceed.
yeah, it's either kind of a yes or no. Is what it ends up being is a yes or no. I think on the back end, then the next problem they're having in the hospital is, where are these going? So they order some, and we have made them single patient use. So some hospitals use them as single patient use, meaning, new one for every patient, then they throw it away. Some hospitals have utilized it to wash it down in between patients, which is fine because, we also want to discourage, waste. And it is functional. It's very durable. So it can be used multiple times, but they go missing, meaning, is the patient taking it home? Is it ending up in another unit? Is it accidentally getting thrown away by housekeeping? So those are some challenges hospitals will have to look at so that they can maintain having this as an expectation for their patients.
You had asked how we wanted to proceed and go forward with this. Now, because the hospitals are so full of patients, they are sending patients home and having hospital at home scenarios where they have IVs, ventilators, all kinds of tubing. And what we would like is for them to move it home with the patient to their medical equipment at home for their pediatric, adult, geriatric needs as a hospital at home. Hopefully, I would like to get it as a durable medical equipment where it's reimbursable by Medicare in a hospital at home setting.
So are you targeting only B2B? That means you are targeting the hospital, or also consider consumer, like direct sales for the patient?
Well, we're smiling because as we went back to my social media, right? whenever all of a sudden we get 10, 11, 12 individual orders throughout the day, I know that one of my videos on social media is doing well. So that happened today for us. We've had about 15 orders from just people, whether they're buying it for themselves, because you also have the chronic patient, meaning the patient who ends up in the hospital either once every 3 months or is in there for a couple weeks at a time due to a chronic illness. They sometimes say, I want to buy my own. I think it's a great gift to give a loved one in the hospital, if there's, because what's more practical and functional? Sometimes you don't need balloons. And yeah, like she said, the person who's in home getting their treatment daily, we've had mothers buy it for their children who might be in a wheelchair and have a disability, and they found it very helpful. So we do to consumer as well. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I think that's an important aspect.
Yeah. And this is, go ahead, please.
Oh, I said to Ann again with her social media, what we're seeing now is I'm the head of the education department at this hospital, and my nurse brought this to me. Can you get me a sample? Because, once you touch this, you just don't want to put it down because it has a lot
I realized that.
Yeah, has a lot of flexibility and
Yeah. I
I can
see
get a lot of love.
both of you, I'm following Anne since a time, and we connected through the social media. But both of you keep mention Anne and social media. So as a nurse, to be a public face, public speaker, to know how to promote and marketing things, how does this help you to expand your business and do that booming?
Well, I think that everything, it's about learning. It's about just grasping that information that's coming and knowing that I can understand it and put it into a way that you can teach someone else. And I think when you can educate someone else on patient safety, nurse, anything, and empower the patient, that you're doing a good thing. And so that's just my goal, is to have everybody be living their best life and to not be in the hospitals, just to have their brief stay there, go home, and then, follow through.
So here, Anne, do you have any formal training to be on the social media, how to be on the cam, what to speak, how to act, or this is something you learn it by yourself as self-paced?
It's okay, I get what you're asking. It was really out of my element, and I wasn't really using social media platforms personally. Like, I never used Instagram before I started using it for our product. But then I think the factor that changed everything was TikTok. So TikTok, and it's because you get to speak to people you don't know. And so you don't feel like you're going to be judged, So that's where I started. And I was like, wow, people like this. And I was like, well, let me expand. So then I just posted my videos on all the social media. And I was like, social media works. It's people like it. And, the other thing about TikTok that was nice is you didn't have to be perfect. So you asked me, did I have training? No, but I realized on TikTok, you didn't have to be perfect. And it was okay to be me. And it was okay to speak my truth. And it didn't have to be that I was successful. People were okay hearing the journey, the ups and the downs. And so I really liked that aspect, because now I feel this is more than a journey of just the product safety. It's also a journey for nurses to innovate and believe in themselves and support each other.
I'm surprised you mentioned TikTok, because TikTok used to have more for the youth and young people where they mainly consume this platform. And your product more into the patient, where typically will go with the adult and with the senior. So the Facebook will be the best place for you to do that. But your result came from TikTok, which is amazing.
And well, like I said, Facebook though, then I realized some of my Facebook videos that went popular, that's driven a lot of our sales as well. Yeah.
So I need you to come and shoot for me one advertising for my business, and you are expert there. So I need this from you.
Well, the secret is, I think it's kind of quantity. Just keep throwing things at it. You never know what's going to go popular. So sometimes you have things that just aren't popular. Unfortunately, sometimes it's when you make a mistake in your video. So that's what happened to our most recent video. Is I was demoing how this can fit on the bottom of a bed, and you can put cords that are laying on the floor in it. And everybody said, oh, but those beds have sensors. The bed won't go down afterwards. And I was like, I literally worked at the bedside with those beds for 12 years. And I knew that, but I forgot about it. So everybody pointed it out on my video, but it just gave it exposure. So that's another thing. No publicity is bad publicity.
And then you hear from the patient too. And with the stories that they tell, and Anne retells to me that the peril that they're in, not being able to get help there. And that just validates the need, and the reason to do it is to hear these stories where you think, "Oh, that could never happen, or they could have never hooked those two hoses together without checking." It happens. So
Wonderful. Wonderful. So what is your next move once coming for a commercial, and what market you are aiming to get in out of the US?
well, back to the color. If we made black ones, they could go back to those bioengineer guys that are, have a lot of cords in their maintenance department and use it that way. Expand into different departments, your X-ray, MRI, those places within the hospital.
And also we are looking at the ideas we make boards. We actually still use pen and paper, and we write down all our different ideas. So, we talked a lot about social media and how it was kind of, us just putting ourselves out there, trying to get the word out by ourselves through social media. We partnered with a distributor called Elco. ALCO. They're nationwide. They're already in half the hospitals in the US. So they've really kind of helped us. It's just even getting a few more customers on board. So I would say moving forward, we're looking at more distributors in the United States. We are looking at individual sales reps who are already going into hospitals, who already sell different products. So just bringing one more product and saying, what about this one? And then also international sales reps. So we have someone in the Philippines. We have someone in Austria who's helping us with all of Europe. I'd love to see one in Australia, just because and Middle East. We had some interest there, but we haven't had any sales or distributors come to us. So we would like distributors, because shipping things from the US, you're incurring obviously a lot of different fees, whether it's tariffs and shipping fees. So having a distributor, I think it's really beneficial. And then then our mind just kind of goes wild, because then things are streamlining and it's a whole nother thing we got to manage, not just our sales, but our distributors. So a lot of exciting possibilities.
Best of luck for you, and I'm excited to see you next time. Come for our podcast and give us the new product and the new business line, and also to share with us a good story. I am very excited for your business, and wish you best of the luck, because family business, and you solve a big problem with the simple solution, and also it is cost effective once coming for the investing from the hospital. And the same time also you consider patient safety and infection control standards, which is a great. So also you have your own roadmap to think how you can continuously improve your product and hear back from your customer. So you are in the right place, working in the health tech companies. You are the future ahead of you, and looking to see this company become bigger, and you dominate the worldwide.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. If one can make use of it, many can.
And for all the nurses, if I was to leave a piece of advice, because you asked me several times, what's the roadmap? How do you get started? Because a lot of times I had that idea, but they didn't pursue it. Or they say, I wish I had that idea. And I'll tell you, to find an idea, it's these workarounds we're doing. They say nurses are the kings and queens of workarounds. And what a workaround is just kind of, instead of actually fixing the problem and creating a solution, you kind of figure out a solution that would work in the meantime, and you keep repeating that. So workarounds are sometimes temporary, sometimes cost ineffective, sometimes dangerous, unprofessional. But the reason workarounds don't get addressed in the hospital goes back to the nurses being burned out and not having the time. So just maybe take a moment and say, you know what, if I was really to fix this problem, how would I fix it? And there might be your idea.
I hear someone in the back saying you have this idea already published from your mother, and you have your mother supporting you. I will answer on your behalf. This is right, but still you do a lot of the things out of your comfort zone. Going on the social media, speaking, demonstrate, stay on the booth, try to convince the hospital. This is something beyond your skill set, and you learn a lot. Sometimes it's good to have someone like your mother support you from the beginning, but not necessarily. If you have that, you don't do any improvement in your skill set and your personality to be fit for the business, right?
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
So how you would like to end the podcast? Every time I ask my guest, so from your end, how you see or how you would like to end the podcast?
I'd like to end the broadcast by thanking you for giving us this opportunity, because that's where our success has come, is from people saying, you can try that. That's okay. And to give you permission.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you.
I agree. Thank you. It's like you're opening up a whole new market for us as well, because it's all about word of mouth. We've had hospitals adopt our product because the nurse says, well, I used to work at this hospital and they use this product. And then they say, okay, so then they adopt it. So you giving us this opportunity, you letting us speak just about our product, and because there's so many different layers, that a hospital will come to us for. We don't know their actual concern. Did they have a problem that somebody tripped? Are they having a problem with infection control? Are they having patient satisfaction scores? Like, why are they coming to us for this product? So there's many different reasons, and I feel like we were able to cover a lot of those.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
And as I told you, I wish I had this product when I was in the ICU, and I would like to ask my network and my friends and the hospitals in the Middle East to give it a try with you. And if anyone wants to connect with Anne, they can connect with you directly, or if you want, I can connect you with Anne, her mother. So I will put your information there. As she told us, she looking for a representation, someone as a reps in the area. So who knows, this is something is good. As a nurse, I'm very supportive for that. And a little bit there's a bias because nurses support their nurses, but it's really a good product.
Yeah, sorry.
And I do know that, in our minds, we have, other ideas that maybe we can even talk again.
Hopefully, yes. I'm very excited to see those all implemented on the ground. So thank you for your time and having you soon with the big idea and with the new business line.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye. Bye bye.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If this episode sparked something in you, here's how you can keep our mission alive. Subscribe to Uncharted Narratives S03E01-A. Leave us a 5-star review. It helps more amazing people discover our stories. Share an episode that moved you with a colleague or friend. Connect with me on LinkedIn and join our healthcare innovation community. Together, we're not just telling stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in healthcare. See you in the next episode of Uncharted Narratives S03E01-A.